Hi, it is Dr. Bernardini with Hack My Voice. So, it is cold and flu season. My husband has had it, and a lot of people around me have had it, but I haven't. Yay me. Of course, watch me get it now. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit and talk about some natural ways that you can combat or at least live with the symptoms of the cold or the flu. We'll also talk about the differences in that. A cold and the flu are both, they think, of, especially where the cold is concerned, form of viruses. And one of the reasons why it's really hard to combat the common cold is because it keeps evolving, right? But so do a lot of viruses, like they become antibiotic resistant, the bacteria that may happen after you get a virus, like a sinus infection or ear infection, and much in the same way that those bacteria seem to mutate and learn to not be affected by antibiotics, viruses also mutate as our bodies become better and more efficient at not getting them. But also, there are some viruses that once you get them, you can't get them anymore within so many month period. When I first started teaching school music, which I don't do anymore, but part of the reason is because I was sick all the time. And that's because my adult immunity had not learned to fight childhood kinds of colds and viruses that kids get. And so my immune system was just always on overload, and while it might be fighting one virus, it had a hard time. It was trying to multitask and couldn't always multitask. So often I would catch one thing right after the other. And that took place for about a year, and then I got better. Often when you live in the dorms or you live with a new person, you tend to be a little sicker because if you share a bathroom, that's where viruses really love to thrive and live, and also in kitchens. So I would say if you're sick, stay out of the kitchen. Do your roommates a favor. Stay out of the kitchen, stay out of the bathroom, sort of quarantine yourself. And if you can't do that and you're in a dorm situation, then really be very, very cognizant of killing germs when you walk in, carrying a thing of Lysol, carrying some bleach wipes, that kind of thing. Don't touch the surfaces unless you've wiped them down, especially if you have roommates that are having sickness. And certainly, like, stomach virus is very contagious. Rotavirus is most likely airborne. So I'd also like to say that one of the things that you can do is buy a air purifier for your dorm room or your apartment. We have them in our living area down here, and they have a UV light that will also kill any germs or viruses that are airborne. And we have one in our bedroom as well. You have to buy a really huge one if you want it to fight the whole house, but so we didn't. We bought two. They're relatively inexpensive on Amazon. If you're in a dorm, buying a small one and putting it by your bed might be a way to go, but they are worth the money, especially if they have a UV light attached to them that is within the system, so that as those things, impurities from your air, go through, the UV zaps them, and many airborne viruses and bacteria cannot survive UV light or prolonged exposure to UV light. So start there. Disinfecting, washing your hands, of course. Those are not new things. The other thing I want to say is, if you do get it, unfortunately, and you need to sing, or you need to do jury, or you have a performance and you need to make the money, one of the things that I really recommend is something like this. And this is a Neomed Sinurinse, and you get the bottle. It's usually on the bottom of the counter where there's cold and flu medicine, or even maybe nose wash, that sort of thing. It's usually on the bottom because it's inexpensive, and it's not going to be harmful to anyone, so they don't have to take precaution. It's got a saline packet. if you're familiar with a neti pot, this is very similar, and people have definite opinions about their preference. I prefer this neti pot. I don't know. It's hard for me. I don't like it. This, it's just squeeze, squeeze. You want to hold your breath because it's going to come from one side of the nostril out the other. Sometimes I try to hold my breath and also hold it in and let it just sort of percolate there. But I tell you, if you have allergies, like when I mow the lawn and I use this, you won't believe the grass particles and dirt and stuff that comes out of my mouth or out of the other side of my nose. It's pretty amazing how this will really wash the filter of the nose. And it's not going to get up into your sinus cavities and that sort of thing because it doesn't have that kind of pressure to it, but it will, get it within here. And that can be really, really helpful, especially in this little eye pocket where you have a little sinus cavity there. But it's not going to go here. It's not going to go up here. It's just not, it doesn't have that kind of pressure. That would take some extreme pressure and be quite painful, actually. This is really easy to do. Now, if you have a gag reflex, this could maybe give you a little gag reflex, but then maybe the neti pot is the way to go. But this is huge. I use it the minute I feel a cold come on, and it really helps to save the drainage from getting on my vocal folds or down into my vocal tract and irritating it. This saves my life every time. The other thing that saves my life when I feel like I might have a cold or allergy coming on, and this is not natural, and oh, by the way, I'm Dr. Bernardini, but I am not a medical doctor. So if you are sick, you need to see your doctor, your physician. What I'm telling you is mostly anecdotal, works for me. Not everything works for everyone. That's my disclaimer. Do not sue me if you get sicker. Anyway, good luck. Not a whole lot to take. But anyway, Flonase. You used to have to get a prescription for it. Now you can buy it over the counter. This is a little steroidal. You want to ask the pharmacist if you take any other kinds of medications. Will Flonase interact? The pharmacist will know better than your doctor. That's a fact. So if you take this when you first get on the signs of cold, that steroid will help keep the swelling in the nasal passage and also in the pharynx down to a minimum. It's really, really beneficial. When I first start feeling a cold coming on, man, it's this, then this. Now, in the winter weather when things are dry, and I don't want to go this extreme, I'll use a saline wash. I really like it, especially when I feel really dry, because a dry nose is a breeding ground for bacteria. So the more salty you can make your nasal membrane, your mucous membrane inside your nose, the less likely you'll have a chance of having a bacteria set up. Okay, so this for precaution, right? The other thing I like to do is elderberry. I wish I had some. I took it to my studio. Elderberry tea, elderberry cough drops, anything like that. Zinc, those things really boost the immune system. Also, something like this, if you're around someone or you're going to get on an airplane, this can be very beneficial to help you with your immune system. I find that when I go get on an airplane, I'm more likely to come out of there with a cold, and that's because they just recirculate the air. Everybody sneezes and coughs, and man, it's annoying. I really don't enjoy flying much, but sometimes you gotta. So I'm armed with this anytime I fly. I also am armed with this anytime I fly, and my Sinurinse, although I have been known to forget it, but $9.99 at CVS is a whole lot better than not doing it, and I would just say that, if you have a little bit of money or a coupon from CVS, buy it even if you're not sick, just so you have it on hand. The other thing I would say to do is eat some oranges every day. We have a little ritual around our house that a little bit after we settle down after dinner and we've digested our food a little bit, we will split either a sumo mandarin, which we love, and they're only in season in the winter in the North America, or some cute little cuties. And we'll split a couple of these, or he'll have one, I'll have one. And it is, food source, pure vitamin C. You also may want to try to eat some sources of vitamin D as well. Get some sun. Lord, get out there, people. Expose your hands and your arms or your face to some sun. Who cares about the cold unless it's, below zero? Just expose your skin just a little bit. Doesn't have to be much. Just a few minutes will create enough vitamin D for you for the day. And vitamin D is not only something that helps to combat common cold or flu, those sorts of things, but also various kinds of cancer. So vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. Can't say it enough. It's best if you get it from your food. It's not that great when you get it from like a multivitamin. Multivitamins we generally we metabolize them. We don't even really, our body can't really use them. So it's a scam, people. It's a big scam. Eat your vitamins. Have an orange today.